Welcome to the Dallas Aftershow. I am James Lott Jr., and this is the fifth, hear my hand together, of our reoccurring series about Ken Kercheval, and what I've been closely watching this story in Clinton, Indiana, and it's an update. Minding my own business. I want to thank some of the folks from Indiana who brought this to my attention. I joined a group. I'm not going to say names or anything. I'm going to keep it about just to protect the innocence. But because I'm reporting this, I'm researching, I'm commenting on this whole situation of Ken Kercheval being from Clinton, Indiana, not having a headstone, the whole thing. This is an interesting part. I want to give you the latest of what's kind of going on, what the chatter is. And so I'm going to go, I have it on my phone, and I'm not going to say the person's name or anything. I would say, but they posted in a Facebook group that's from that area. That they mentioned how Ken does not have a headstone, and they wrote this: he doesn't have a headstone marking his grave. A wholesale granite monument delivered would be delivered at less than $500, and I or others can easily pour the foundation. As I worked along Western, this county he's from, I have been hearing about this for years. I don't want to eat the cost myself, so would others be interested in making small donations to a third party that could account and verify? I remember when he started on Dallas, as do many others. So I thought that was okay. I thought that was actually I saw it as a very sweet thing that a fan is actually wanting to get a headstone, put it on there for him, do actually some of the work. I thought that's really sweet, and actually said money to a third, like somebody verified it. It goes. I mean, like he wants to be. It's like he wants to be. This person wants to be up and up. Actually, I don't know if it's a he or she. I can't tell the name. I can't tell. So, right now it has 143 comments, and they range all over the place. Um, and it's all over the place. So people, oh my God, say okay. So I'm going to read some of these comments stuff because it's really interesting. So for me, my first reaction was, I wonder what the protocol is actually if you're not a family member and you weren't with him or you're not a friend or whatever. If you are a fan or if you're a friend or somebody who just like perfectly knew him, can you put a headstone on their grave without the family knowing, or without the family participation? I was like, I just asked, like, I wonder what protocol is. Because part of me was thinking, wow, what if maybe JLG Media funded something like that? And I said, well, I would do this whole thing, like, headstone, maybe do a little ceremony, think something nice. I was kind of going that direction. But again, I was like, the family obviously has to be involved on some level, right? Some people were just like pissed. And, it's, but some people bring up, one person was like, it's not really your place to solicit funds unless you are a child of Ken's or have spoken to the family or gotten okay from the family about this. And the person, I don't know if it's a guy or girl, says they were not soliciting funds, and they had been contacted by friends and family. Um, but I can see where people could think he's asking for money to help him with this, and this, or he or she. I'm saying he or she, and I see where some people are coming from. I read it slightly different. Like they were just like they what I don't know. I thought it was a nice thing. Um, and this person claims they've been contacted at least 20 times since 2005 about this. Um, and so people were like, but here's the thing. He died in 2019, literally April 20th, 2019. So I know for me, I've been really curious why there isn't a headstone. And what is his children thinking about that? Like, what's going on? Someone had sent a message on there saying, I'm one of his children. They scratched out where it was. And my brother has the headstone. We're just trying to get together. Now, just sounds weird because 6 years later, I don't know what's going on there. Um, but people on here are claiming lots of stuff. One person claims, and quote, this is straight from the funeral director that buried Ken. Ken's daughter paid for the burial, and his son was supposed to pay for the headstone, which he never did and probably never will. The person claims that. Oh, this person is the funeral director. Says they're the funeral director. Oh, okay. And the person who was the head of this post said they've had several sources that said the same thing. Um, Someone else says, "There's my understanding that he did not want a headstone. As mentioned to an earlier comment, due to his fame, the fear was his grave would be disturbed and or cemetery would be vandalized." Which I understand that part because he's a star. And I've been to a bunch of cemeteries, which you can, if you go to my Ernie Pyle episodes, I talk about some sort of cemeteries and my East JLJ this evening, or whatever. I went to several. I went on a cemetery tour basically, and they're not like in some states where they're just gated and they're somewhere else. They're in people's like backyards, kind of. They're in rural Indiana. They're out there, so they're on people's lands. So I mean, you don't put people just on your land that you don't know. I mean, it's kind of dangerous. So I kind of get that. Someone confirms, well, co-signs and says he stated when he inquired on the plot on his own behalf many years back prior to his mother's passing. Someone else says, I will share with you, he wanted to literally rest in peace. The gentleman was not buried at Hollywood Forever, for example. That California cemetery is where you'll find many, many stars in their final resting place. Kenny, even at the height of his fame, literally chose his resting place, no headstone. Again, we have no idea. These are people who are from the area claiming these things. So I know for me, they could be true. They could be true. They could be false. People could make stuff up, but it could be true. But I just think people, the person who wrote this post said, Jewish children just messaged me and said that you, among others, don't need to worry about it. They appreciate the efforts having made. There is a headstone waiting. There's a person who said they were a nurse that took care of them and said, oh my God, I'd love getting to know this man and hear all of his adventures in life. As a nurse that took care of him in his later days, a wondering man. I could possibly donate a bit. He was a great man. Someone else claims he was my brother's roommate at Clinton Gardens for a while. Somebody claims the family doesn't care. They even lied about his passing and made a fake post. Ken and I were friends. He deserves what his family doesn't care enough to give. Now, someone says, have you checked with the caretaker of the cemetery? Individuals generally can't just go to a cemetery and make changes, pouring foundation, adding moving stones, etc. It seems there's a lot of uncertainties on if you have authorization for the family or cemetery to organize a fundraising campaign to provide a marker or stone. And they go on to say, can you show verification the family support your mission and want a current grave changed, and that the cemetery will allow you to add a stone to the grave when you're not the executor of his estate? I would say the family executor will make the decision if they choose to not provide a stone. Their wishes should be respected. If Ken had wanted a stone, I think he would have planned for a stone to be placed with his family or cemetery. I believe you have good intentions. Try to remember the lack of stone is not equal to the lack of love and care from family, friends, community. Now that's okay. You know what? That's very interesting. I never even thought of it before, kind of. It's just so funny because It goes on and on and on. It's all over the place. People yelling at him, screaming at him. I know for me, I don't want to be buried. I would be cremated and scattered over a garden somewhere. I don't know, whatever I want to do. I'm not into burials, like tombstones, like I said, I'm not into all that stuff. So for me, I don't want that. I don't even want a funeral. So I'm like, I understand some people are probably like, I just want to go. He was living in Clinton his last days. And he was just like, I don't want any major attention brought here. I've been to that area of the country and it's beautiful, it's rural, it's quiet. Maybe it's just like, I just want to keep it that way. I just want to keep it that way. So it's very interesting of people, because it's a small area, a small town. To me, it's very possible what some people are saying is true. As we look into this, and all these years, there's been no headstone or major marker on there. Maybe he did want a big, shiny object. Not everybody wants opulence and huge stuff. So I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to kind of feel like, okay, maybe there isn't anything bad. I don't know. I still feel like, I mean, if any of the children want to talk to me, I'm here. I want to talk to you. Come on my show. Contact me. But I'm just, but after reading some of these comments and see what's going on here, I think that person who originally made the post had good intentions. I want to believe that person had good intentions. Again, I don't know if it was he or she. The name is unisex, so I couldn't tell. But I think they had good intentions. They're trying to do something nice. But there are some things you have to look into before you do it. And maybe that was his mistake, or her mistake, was that they should have looked more into it before they actually made a post about it, asking for help, kind of. Because that's my first question. Was like, well, what if the family? Like, what's that mean? And then I know, and I've been there, and I know that it's off the road on a property, or somebody's property. I was just wondering how many things come into place with that. I mean, I guess a suggestion I might have is just screw that whole area. Just in Clinton somewhere, maybe erect a little monument to him. You don't need family permission. You don't need family permission for that. You can say, I want to dedicate this little square or this piece of art to Ken Kercheval's memory, and maybe do a little plaque and a little thing in front of it. And, and that's something you probably can look into. I don't know what the laws are there about that. But here in LA, we've done for my dogs, we have like little areas where like, that's the Scrabble corner and there's a tree next to it. So I'm like, I just wonder if maybe you can plant a tree in his honor or something, have a plaque in the tree. I mean, like, there's a lot of things you can do. Besides, like, now everyone's like, it's a tizzy over that cemetery situation. Maybe you can do something else for him. That's not that expensive, and then you feel like celebrates that he's from Clinton, Indiana, and that you are a big fan of his work on Dallas. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep following this and other stories about him. I got more stuff we're following and more things. I've been looking into something else that's interesting too on here about a shooting that was on the set and the deal with Ken. So we're working all kind of stuff. The Dallas Aftershow, if you're like, oh my God, James, your video, I'm video this time. I decided to do video and audio this time. It's mostly an audio podcast, but every once in a while I do video. I feel like it. And with Ken, I've been doing all videos and audio, so that's why I kind of like do this. Check out the other 4 episodes within the Dallas Aftershow and here on JLGBD on YouTube, where I'm kind of I'm finding stuff along with everybody else about Ken Kercheval's time in Clinton, Indiana, his family. I never thought I would even know this stuff. It's very unique. I'm James Lott Jr., and also a little shout out to the series finale of the show happened in 1991 on a few days ago. Just a little shout out to that. I'm James Lott Jr. We'll talk to you next time.